Good morning and good weekend. I'm smoking my Frido pipe from the Vaughan series, and in it I've got 10 Russians, one of my favourite smokes. In a recent VR to somebody, I mentioned rules are there to be broken, and I want to really entitle this video, Build Your Tower so that you can jump off. By build your tower, I mean get the basics right for your life and for life in general. For people of faith, that means learn about your faith, learn the doctrines, the rules, and get the basics right. For other people, it might be have a rule of life. What influences your life? What do you think's important? And build your life on that and your integrity upon it. And once you've got that base, if you like, once you've built your tower that you can go to and, if you like, take cover in if need be, to help you through difficult times, through times of worry and hardship, or when you're having a bad day. If you've got the basics right, if you've got the basic faith in yourself, the belief in yourself, or the belief in your God, then you're much stronger. And what people say to you, yes, take notice. They might be saying something that you need to hear. But don't allow negative stuff to rest too heavily upon you. Just say, well, thank you for your opinion. And leave it at that. But what's this about jumping off the tower? Well, if we've got the basics that we can go back to, that rule our lives, then we have a lot of freedom. If your tower's your faith in God, I'm not saying reject that faith or forget it when you jump off the tower. But remember, rules are there as guidance, and there are times for forgetting the rules and just living, enjoying life. If you're too stuck with the rules, then life becomes a burden. It becomes something that's not enjoyable. And it becomes something that, if you're in a group who keep the same rules and that, it becomes obligation. It becomes something restricting. And faith should never, ever be restricting. It should give you freedom. Freedom to know that you're loved. Freedom to know what you believe. And freedom to live. And for those of us who are more eclectic in our beliefs, not bound so much by traditional beliefs, but open to different ways of thinking, or even for those of us who don't believe in God. It's as you get the basics of your life right, if you get the rule of your life right, the good way of living, ensuring that you do none harm as far as possible. That you help people when you can. Don't get into the habit of saying you've got to help everybody. You've got to give to everything. You know, there's a sort of a saying. It was said, I think, at somebody's funeral, or supposed to have been. Frida did good works. She was known for her good works. And you could tell the people she'd done good works for by the look on their face. You know, often we do good works and good things because it becomes something that we feel we have to do. We do it because it gives us pleasure, not actually because it helps the person concerned. And a friend of mine used to have a sign up saying, if things don't improve, I'm going to have to ask you to stop helping me. Being a member of the YTPC and smoking a pipe has given me a faith in myself, a belief that I'm not a bad guy, a belief that I'm okay, that I'm acceptable. The main thing is that I'm acceptable to myself. There's a song that I've heard Paul Robeson singing in Showboat, where his wife's sort of saying, look, do you ever do the dishes? No, you don't. You know, do you prepare the vegetables? No, you don't. And his response is, I still suits me. You know, I suit me. I now know me. I know the good and I know the bad. And I still loves me. Might seem a strange thing to say when you're saying you love yourself. But if you can't love yourself, how the hell can you love your neighbour? How can you love those who, when you go to work, open their big mouths and cause you problems for the rest of the day? That comes with knowing yourself, of knowing that you're a human being, and knowing that they're a human being, and that they might be having a hell of a day, and so you're the one that they took it out on. Don't let people walk over you when I say, you know, that if somebody's being unreasonable, tell them, but in a matter-of-fact way. If you lose your temper, you'll say things that you'll regret. But if you love and are confident in yourself, you'll say things with respect. You'll be able to say to somebody, please, don't say that to me. Treat me with the respect I treat you. Don't use that language. When I used to work in the factory, we were amongst the men. There was a lot of cussing and swearing and joking and that kind of thing. But if one of the younger lads was using that kind of language in a different situation, often one of the older workers would say to him, there's ladies present. You don't talk like that. You know the place and the time when it's right. Build your tower, and then you'll be able to jump off. at the right time. And you won't jump off and crash to the ground. You'll jump off and fly. So, my thought for today for you is build your tower, but maybe today, jump off. The rules are there to guide you, not to rule your life. Sometimes it's all right to say why when somebody says we do this. I remember when I was a young clergyman, the bishop came to take a service, and my trained priest said to me, just, tell the bishop how we do things, when you're acting as his chaplain. Just steer him around so that he doesn't cause any problems to us. And there was a point during the service where I said to the bishop, we do this now. And he looked at me and said, well, I don't. And carried on with what he was doing. Taught me a lot. There are times when you can sort of say, why? I don't. The sign that says keep off the grass on a nice hot sunny day. Why? What's better than lying on grass on a hot summer's day? I mean, some of the politically correct rules are just ridiculous. You go into a coffee shop and you get a warning that your drink's hot. Simply because somebody took them to court once because they burnt themselves on their hot drink. I think if I'd have been the judge, I'd have said, you did what? Did you think it would be cold? Were you expecting a cold drink? Or were you expecting a hot drink? Anyway, sorry, I'm beginning to ramble. Have a good weekend. May you be richly blessed. And may you always know when to jump off your tower.